see, I am wearing the faces of everyone who has visited this exhibit. This is not because I'm shy. It's because of your gift to me, which is your data.
We've been looking at what you might call cultural big data, so looking at data in relation to cultural institutions, into large cultural platforms, and looking at more creative and critical possibilities for that kind of data. And then furthermore, it's looking at ways we can access the data that could or is being generated within cultural institutions, and looking at that in part as how we might differently understand how we interact with cultural institutions, but how we interact with each other.
The way we see it is that persona non data is like a meta exhibit. So it means that you interact with our exhibit by visiting the Big Bang Data exhibit. Because whether you realize it or not, while you're visiting the exhibit, you are generating enormous amounts of data. Your movements, your faces can be captured by CCTV cameras. You may use your mobile phone or the network. So in many, many ways, you are generating data, enormous amounts of data. We capture this data and we use it for multiple reasons. First of all, to visualize it, and then most important of all, to create the distinct perception and awareness of how much data you produce, even if you don't realize it, and how this data can be used for purposes which may be awful, fantastic, or anything that there is in between.
We are using the actual existing CCTV cameras. We are using the Wi-Fi. We are analyzing all this data using a series of techniques, creating a new interface in which people are able to interact in a different way to things that are part of their daily life. Their face will be captured, and so it will be part of persona non data archive. But they will be also asked, do you want to be blurred or not as soon as they have taken the photo? It means that unlike the real world, where you are captured without being asked for your opinion, here we start to create a new possible interface in which at least you are asked for an opinion.
As a researcher in this field, I'm interested in this because it opens up further these basic questions of access to an agency over. So I think that it's important to recognize that the data that we capture is multivalent. That is, it's open to multiple kinds of value generation and applications. So I think opening this up to kind of critically expose this infrastructure and to allow people to work with that is a tremendous output. And I think going forward, this is a highly iterable platform that can be altered and adjusted to the needs of a specific environment.
For us, the biggest, among the biggest opportunities which come from all this data, the availability of all this data, is not to try and predict things, but to allow as many people as possible to form an opinion, to form their interpretation of data, and to see how they can be interconnected, how they can coexist together.